How about now? Can you guys hear me now? Check, check, check. Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully you can. How about now? Can you guys hear me now? All right. I hear me. So hopefully you hear me. Can you guys hear me now? All right. Let me. Hopefully you can. How about now? Can you guys hear me now? Come on. All right. I hear me. So hopefully you hear me. Come on. You guys can hear me now, right? Perfect. All right. Here we go. Again, I'm new to all this stuff. There's a lot of technology here. I wish you guys saw. I wish you guys could see what I have in front of me right now. I've got one computer here, one computer here, one computer here, my cell phone here. Everything's kind of attached. Everything's hooked up and linked. And so, I'm learning. I feel like I'm back in school again. How's everybody doing? All right, well, we're gearing up for a round of potentially, all right, I want to use the word potentially, wild weather. Okay, there's a severe thunderstorm risk. We all know that. There's also a flash flood risk. More importantly, there is a tornado risk here. Storm Prediction Center has already gone ahead and they've turned on the all their watches and alerts here. As now a severe thunderstorm watch was updated here. It was issued by the National Weather Service. Let's see. All right, there it is right there. Let's see what time the watch goes into effect. It's in effect now, but let's see when it expires. And I suddenly can't talk. Let's see. Looks like it's Virginia. I want to say 9 o'clock. That's what it looked like here. Severe thunderstorm. It looks like, 9 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, and again, what the Storm Prediction Center is really worried about here, what they're most concerned about here, is going to end up being strong straight line winds. The order in which the concern goes would be number one, strong straight line winds, okay? Potentially damaging straight line winds. Number two would be flash flooding. Number three would be lightning. And number four would be tornadoes. So it's going to be in that order. So you can see the tornado threats all the way down the line, all right? If you do get a tornado, it would be very, very isolated, all right? So if you think about the entire viewing area, Poconos down to southern Delaware, Lancaster County and out towards Hershey, all the way to the Jersey Shore. Maybe you get one warning. All right, that's what isolated means. Maybe you get one cell or maybe two, but likely just one that has enough spin to produce rotation closest to the ground and you get a tornado warning. Okay, so again, that is it's a threat, but it's on the lower side. The biggest concern is going to be for the strong straight line winds. And, we were talking about this over the last couple of days. There's a lot of wind right off the deck. You don't have to go too high up, maybe 5,000, 6,000 feet. And the wind's humming, all right? It's moving pretty good. And so what happens is as these thunderstorms grow, think about it. Some of these storms can topple 40, 45,000 feet. They're way up there. Think about when you're in an airplane, right? You're in a jet and you're flying and you can see these big towering cauliflower-like clouds. You got to fly around that, right? Those clouds, again, can go 40, 45, 50,000 feet. You can't get too much higher than that. Then you start going into the stratosphere. But you get what I'm saying? So, 5,000 feet's nothing. So if the storm grows to 5,000, 10,000 feet, which it should do very easily, you're going to draw into that wind and boom, push it down to the surface. All right, and so that's why the strong straight line wind threat, the damaging straight line wind threat, is the greatest at this point here. All right, so we zoomed into this one cell. We've got one lone cell, and it looks like it's right there. Right over downtown Center City. That's it. That's the only ball game in town right now. Okay? Good downpour right over Center City. Notice it looks like it's trying to build a little bit to the east. If you're on 206 north of Chemung, just west of Pemberton, looks like you have some more heavy thunderstorms flaring up there too. Nothing is severe at this time. These are just drenching downpours with some cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. But eventually what's going to end up happening here is a little bit farther down the road, out and through here, is when, let me see if I got my... Oh, does it work? It does. So out and through here, all right, you get out in this way here and then, out here. Those areas, that's where you're suddenly going to start to see a line of thunderstorms develop, okay? Actually, let's see. It looks like it's not even out there yet, all right? So we're way early in the game. I would say right here is where you're going to start to see it, okay? Right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor, so let me draw right there. All right, that's where you're going to start to see it. You're going to start to see the returns and the red start showing up and everything. And then that will slide east, okay? Just like that. Okay, so that is what we're going to be watching here over the next couple of hours. Right now, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy type stuff. There's not much going on, okay? We only have this one little cell right here, which is not severe at the moment, okay? So let me see if I can zoom in. You know what I should have done? I should have hooked up my my mouse. I do have a mouse. Hold on one second. See if this works. This might work. Let's see. See if it... it did work. All right, let's slide this over. Let's see. Look at that. Let's see. Doesn't want to let me zoom in though. Why? There we go. All right, that's what I wanted to do right there. Okay, so there it is. All right, and you can see it. Pretty good downpour right over Center City. It looks like it is right over Philly Northeast, the airport there. Big, big drenching downpours, and then it's shifting to the east here. Pemberton, good downpours. There's 206. Looks like Manchester Township, you're fine, but you don't have to go too far to the west. Right over the county line there, Ocean and Burlington County. That's where you're probably okay, but then you go just to the west, and the skies are probably pitch black as the rain starts coming down. Again, we're not seeing really, we're not really seeing any kind of rotation or anything like that. Or, it's just a thunderstorm at this point. But eventually, again, we'll have to, watch these closely and see what happens a little later on here as some of these storms really get going. And we'll wait and see. But right now, that's the only one. And it looks like having a little bit of trouble here with the data. That's the only thing. I gotta. All right. I don't know why it's doing that. All right. All right. So it doesn't want to go too much farther out than that. That's fine. We don't have to go any further out than that. All right. But what I wanted to show you here is how the radar is suddenly just popping. If you guys have any questions here, now I've been making numerous posts on social media, and hopefully you guys, all the questions that you may have are answered. If you still have questions though, and you would like me to answer them, go ahead. I'll take a couple minutes now, and then we'll go on from there. My buddy Rob is going to be joining us soon. I'm supposed to be giving him a code. I got to give him a code so he can hop on. Bear with me 1 second. I gotta text him that. This is another thing I'm learning too. Okay, so let me look over here. I'm going to look over this way here. It looks like is New Egypt looking for bad tornadoes, Mike? So again, here's the thing. Everybody's fair game at this point. Okay, watch. I'll go over to the outlooks. Okay. So here's the tornado outlook. It's everybody. Okay? Everybody. There's nobody that is, in the clear, so to speak. Everybody sees the same exact chance of getting the tornado. But it's isolated. So when you see this whole area shaded in green like this, it doesn't mean everybody's getting it. It just means that, for example, Trenton has the same chances of Philadelphia, which has the same chances of Pemberton, which has the same chances of Voorhees, which has the same chances of Lansdale of potentially seeing one. So that's okay. So now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning here. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's click on it. Let's see what we got going on here, guys. Severe thunderstorm warning, winds of 60 miles per hour. It's for that cell right over downtown Philadelphia. And the reason for that is obviously because it is right over the city itself. While you're looking at this radar here, just hold on 1 second so I can get my buddy Rob's phone number. And yeah, there it is right there. Sorry about this, guys. I gotta get the phone number to him so he can join in, and then we can tag team this puppy. There he is. There it is. Share contact. Okay. Sorry about that. We should be all taken care of now. But there it is. There's a severe thunderstorm warning. That is up until 3 p.m. Right now, it is warned because of hail. Radar indicated hail wind potentially up to 60 miles per hour. All right, so it's for this cell right here, right there in Philadelphia. Let me get the telestrator on. So it's pretty much this thing right here. Okay, this little ball almost looks like a bowling ball here. Looked like it was moving off to the northeast pretty good at about 30 miles per hour, and it should just keep following like that. All right, so it's going to run. It's literally going to run right up the I-95 corridor, right up the Delaware River, just west of 295. So if you're traveling north on 295, you look to the left or the west, and the sky is pitch black. You look to the east, and you probably don't see much. You probably have a combination of sun and clouds. And then, of course, just the opposite if you're heading to the south. But there's a look at it right there. All right, so it's the heavy thunderstorm that is right over Philly northeast. Let's set it in motion for you. And again, there's the movement here. Moving along. This one formed. You know what was interesting, too, is right now the RRFS model, which is a really high-resolution forecast model. It's the Rapid Refresh forecast system. Right now, that model actually really nailed where these storms were going to start developing. So if that's the case, if that model is the one that's doing the best job or handle on things, then that means Delaware and South Jersey is going to get blasted later today, because that's what the model showed was it had these thunderstorms kind of pushing off to the northeast. They were really spotty out ahead of the main line, which is exactly what's going on here. And then it brought along a line from the west east, but it brought those heavy thunderstorms in Wilmington. It put them down Route 40 in South Jersey, heading into Millville, where, Cumberland Regional High School, that area, Bridgeton, would have gotten hit really hard according to that model. So Delaware Bay area, central, southern Delaware. So this is starting to line up very nicely with what that model showed. So the areas that I'm mentioning, all right, be careful later on, because that's likely what's going to end up happening. In other words, it showed it right here. All right, so it had the initial cells pushing northeast like that, and then it had this area right here. All right, getting hit really good after 5 p.m. Okay, and I think what's going to happen is, again, you're going to end up seeing this right here, this line develop, and it'll start moving to the east, just like that. So I know this is the cell that's warned right now, and we're going to have to keep our eye on it, again, just in case we do see some kind of rotation here. But really, it's going to be this area down here towards Chambersburg that we're going to have to watch closely over the next couple of hours. And I know that sounds funny because there's nothing out there, right? But again, that's where everything should get going shortly, and then that'll be pushing east here. Essentially, what we have happening here is a warm front right here, okay? It's not a very good line. All right, there's a warm front. Oh, no. There's a warm front right there, all right? And then you're going to end up having a cold front right here. Okay, and I know we're getting messy here with all the lines. But in between the two fronts right here is called the unstable sector, all right? We're in the warm sector. That's where you get all the instability. So that is right over the heart of the Philadelphia area. Okay, looks like he's on the guest view now. Let me see if I can get him on here. Guest view. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see if you guys remember this familiar face. Okay. There he is. I see him. Let's try this right here. Guest view. in this. Hold on. I I don't know what I just did. And that's why we're going on early like this, and just that's part of the reason why we're doing this now, because when it really starts getting going here, we want to make sure we have all the kinks worked out. So that's why we're doing this now. Rob, you on there, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you just fine. So
Okay, I
far.
can't. Hold on one second, Drew. I can't hear him.
Yeah, I got the mic on. I can hear you.
All right, hold on one second, Rob. We got to get everything.
Sure.
For some reason, we see you. For some reason I can't hear you. So Drew's working on the volume right now, buddy. Let's try that. Oh, Rob, I hear you now. Are you there?
Yeah, you checked 1, 2, 3, mic check.
Yeah, gotcha. What's going
Yeah,
on?
good to see you, Chris.
You too, man. How is it down there in Fort Myers?
It's good. We do a lot of work up in that neck of the woods, as you know, and it's the same thing every day here. You were here, 93 and hot, and 102 by the afternoon, and same old story. And you can see behind me the thunderstorms on the Caloosahatchee here. This is the gateway into the Gulf.
Yeah.
Which is 92 degrees right now.
Oh,
smoking, I know. Not your world.
So, I mean, when we left, we've been up here now. I think June 2nd was when we got up here, Rob. And we had already had almost an entire month's worth of heat index between 100 and 110, and it wasn't even June yet. It was, was just bad. Woo.
Yeah. And I imagine, looking at this El Nino kicking in, talking about the pattern in the Delaware Valley, that I think you got a lot of humidity coming up there for the rest of the summer as that Pacific Ocean starts to warm up. So I think this type of scenario right now today is going to be more common this summer than the typical summer in the New Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware, New Jersey area. So I think that's where we're going with this. I saw the warning just go up a minute ago, riding up the Delaware River there, and
radar indicated. What I'm worried about, and by the way, let me introduce you properly here. If the folks don't remember, Rob Garino was a former chief meteorologist at Fox 29 here in Philadelphia for a very long time. When were you there, Rob? What years?
I think I was there about 98 to 07. It's been a while. It was an 11-year run there. I guess, 11 years. And I was the weekend guy, moved up to the chief, and we did a lot of great stuff there. And, TV, you move around as like you did.
Yeah.
And we do a lot with Philadelphia, as mentioned. So we never really left. We just left from the on-camera side. But we never really left Philadelphia for what we do at the Weather Pros. Is we do a lot of plow forecasting for the plow guys, snowfall certification, slip and fall cases. And then we also, of course, the weather bus that's on your website.
Yeah.
That's a big venture we're getting into with Chris. And we have on the East Coast close to 200 schools already booked, probably 80 in South Jersey for the fall. So you'll see Chris around a lot. I'll be up there as well. We just got a new bus. This is exciting. I got to tell you this. We bought the Indianapolis 500 shuttle bus to the infield. It's a big,
really cool,
like a VIP shuttle, not a school bus. It's about 30 feet long. So we're going to take all the seats out. We're going to put all this cool weather instruments that you'll get to meet Chris and see with. And the kids get to really touch and feel the weather instruments. The drop song that comes from the hurricanes. We have one of them. Noah gave us one of those. So this is all the kids that love weather. You're going to love this. I think the adults love it just as much because it's really getting into the science of weather hands-on. So we go to schools, we go to fairs. We're going to 6 camps in Camden County next month. And then we're all over the state. We go to fairs. So Chris joined us as we joined Chris, kind of a partnership here, and we're going to be everywhere.
And just to give the folks, a little background, I started at Channel 6 in Philadelphia. By the way, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning up. I have not seen it's still for the same areas. It's up
Yeah,
mainly for winds. You're getting a good downpour. Little cell riding right up the Delaware River. So
yeah, literally.
Levittown, Ben Salem, um, and then places like Cinnaminson on the other side of the river. Maybe Riverside getting hit pretty good. But it's really just a downpour right now. A little bit of wind, and that's it. Clearly, outside of that, Rob, you can see there's nothing else going on the radar at the moment. So we're doing okay. But I wanted to get back to so I was at Channel 6 from 2000 to 2005 as a behind the scenes producer for Dave Roberts. Everybody remembers Dave, right? Dave
Yeah.
is.
Remember he used to look to 50 Cent? Remember he listened to 50 Cent?
Yeah, me and Dave.
Remember you got him on that? He used to tell me the stories when we had dinner.
So Dave Roberts, just a little. I mean, remember this is going back to 2000. All right. So who was hot back then? 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, and so every time I would come into the office, he would say, "Hey, Snoop, what's going on, Snoop?" He would call me Snoop, and 50 Cent. He took me out to dinner. And he gave me a 50 Cent hat. Dave Roberts was so cool. He's a great
cool dude.
Yeah. And so that's how I met Rob. I was forecasting at Channel 6 behind the scenes. Dave and I, we were like, attached to the hip, with the forecasting and everything. And, then I met Rob Garino one day, and Rob and I hit it off. And, Rob was always trying to catch up to me as far as forecasting skill and ability. So, he would ask me for tips, and Rob would always say, "Hey, Chris, what do you think about this store?" But I would say, Rob, and then, "Hey, Chris, what do you think of that store?" But I would say, and you're not catching my sarcasm, are you, Rob?
I already am, because I kind of remember it being the other way around. No, Chris and I have great history, and I know when you were out in Harrisburg, and there was one storm, and I'm trying to remember the one in Philly. We were coming from Continental on Market.
Yeah.
And you had said to me, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well, the whole newsroom, we have a bet going at Fox." I was at Fox at the time. And the story was, if we could get our all-time ratings, he would buy a Pac-Man machine for the newsroom. The arcade ones, not the video today, the arcade ones. And that storm was coming. And I just remember Chris and I walking down the street at Market by the Fork. I think the Fork's still there, actually.
Yeah.
And he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Chris, my gut says this is going to be a big one." And it was. But, we talked to each other a lot about how forecasting sometimes is a gut instinct. And when you talk about forecasting and, you talk about being around a long time, you get all that knowledge. But a lot of times it comes down to, you can look at models all you want. It's just what you feel growing up in the area. And you can kind of tell if a storm's going to do it or not. And that's a side of forecasting that AI is never going to be able to do. It can look at past storms, but I just think there are certain things that AI, as we all know, is a big part of weather now. For everything really in society, it's really really ramping up. But that's what makes the difference when you talk about forecasters. And nothing against forecasters in Philly, it's experience. And to me, that still exists with storms and scenarios. And as we, work our partnership out here and we talk more and more and we see each other more and more, we're going to talk about long range weather, which I always loved more than even short range sometimes. I love looking at this super El Nino. Let me tell you, folks, this is going to be an interesting year for the Delaware Valley. I think there's going to be some surprises in some of these storms. And I know a lot of you have been around 09, 10, not to talk winter right now, even though we're in the summer mode. That winter was a pretty good big El Nino. It wasn't as big as this one coming. But that one wasn't a lot of events. But when we got them, the one in December before Christmas, and if you remember in January, February, they were big because this system is loading up with moisture out of the Pacific. This might be the warmest we've seen the Pacific since they kept real records, reliable records. So it's going to be an interesting year because I think it's already starting to impact the weather in the summer. Like, I feel like there's a little more frequency now with storms. They're starting to pick up in that area.
I was gonna say, what really what's interesting too, because you're talking about the strong, because they categorize them weak, moderate, strong, and then there's like super strong, right? When it comes to the El Ninos.
Yeah.
And so I think the super strong, we only have like 4, right? I know the 82, 83 was super strong.
83,
97, right? 96, 97, or was it 97, 98? And then there's this one coming on, and I think there was the 2009, 2010 one, was that super strong too? Was that
it was a moderate to strong?
That was moderate to strong,
slightly below the ones you mentioned.
Because usually what happens is, for the folks at home watching me right now, usually what happens is, the stronger the El Nino, it usually means warm and rainy winters. You know what I mean? You usually don't get snow. You usually don't get a lot of cold here in the Philadelphia area. But that one said, one of these kids is doing his own thing. He said, "Oh, no, 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 no." And that El Nino went the complete other way, and it was cold, and it was very, very snowy. You had snowpocalypse, you had snowmageddon, and you had an ice storm, I believe, too, that winter. That was a really crazy winter. Drew, if you're listening to me, Drew, because Drew's on the controls, can you pop the radar up real quick while we're talking, so the folks at home can at least see the radar, so we could show them, where the cells are right now. I believe they're still. It looks like they're right over. Go ahead, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to get that radar. Go ahead.
So when you look at these winters, and a lot of people are already writing the winter off. Do not. It's not going to be the same as the past one. Let's face it. We finally had a real winter in the Delaware Valley. We finally did, and we do a lot of work with snowplow companies on a private sector. Close to 65,000 drivers use our service, and they really use us for when is it going to start? So they don't have guys sitting around paying hourly. Slip and fall cases. Weather plowing is very, very sophisticated, more than people know, especially if you're running a business. And then we also certify how much snow fell so they bill correctly, and then the slip and fall cases. It's kind of like, think about a plow driver going out and plowing that Walmart in your local neighborhood, or that Wegmans or ShopRite. Think about it, and if he follows all the parameters, he's not liable if someone falls. Claims paid if you fell in the parking lot. But if he doesn't do certain things, he's liable and his insurance goes up. It's kind of like you texting and driving versus you getting hit in the parking lot at Target while you're shopping. One's your fault, one's not. Same thing with the plow guys. So we work with them a lot. And we told them this year, don't expect a lot of events like last year and persistent cold, but there are a few big storms sneaking out there. Like, there are a few going to be out there. It's a question is, can they ride up the coast? Yeah. How's the radar looking? Do we see it? I don't have it in front of me. But
oh, you don't have it in front of you? Okay, so let's. We're gonna have somebody. We're gonna end up talking about winter for the next hour, because
Rob, winter. It's hot. It's hot down here.
All right, let's go over to the radar. So what we got? So Rob, you can't see the radar right now, or you can?
No, I can't. I'll pull it up on my phone though, but I can't see it on the screen, so I don't want to.
We're zoomed in right now. We got one severe thunderstorm warning. It looks like it's from Center City northeastward through. It looks like Ben Salem's in this warning. Levittown's in the warning. Willingboro is in the warning on the other side of the Delaware. It's northwest Burlington County right now. It is radar indicated for winds, potentially up to 60, but that's really it. Got a couple of cloud to ground lightning strikes. There's the warning. It does say tornado possible, which is interesting. Yeah. So, Drew, I'll tell you what. How about we flip it over to the velocity mode, buddy? And let's see.
Red green there.
Yeah, let's see if
folks, if you're riding up here, I would say this is like this is a 130 storm going up 130, right up there, kind of paralleling 295. So if you've got some plans in the next hour, it's a pretty good downpour. It's going to slow you down. That's the area, Chris, as you mentioned, kind of, it looks like it's going to be just southeast of Trenton, in Bordentown, down through Burlington. Just taking a look at it here. You're right. It just looks like a heavy downpour, but that's probably the most impacted road in the next hour would be 130 shooting up the pike there.
And it looks like, honestly, on the radar, if you flip it over to the Drew's got it